We are going to do the following. If you can look up here, please, to the agenda. We have a warm-up. Number 2, we have a bingo game on literary words. The literary words are up here. Number 3, we have a small group pre-listening discussion. Number 4, we have a brief video clip we'll watch. Number 5, we have an audio. The title of our tale today is How Chameleon Became a Teacher. Number 6, we are going to do an oral retell. Number 7, you will wind up writing your own story. Yes, it's not difficult. And as usual, I put up the agenda in a writing form, and I'm going to read it, and we'll all read it once. We have lots of activities to do today. We'll read it once, and then we continue. So I'm going to read it first. Good morning, students. Today we'll start off the class with a game, bingo. We will do a game on literary terms. After that, we will do a small group discussion, pre-reading skills. We will thereafter watch a short video clip. Next comes the audio of the folk tale we would read. Happy learning. Let's read it just once, just for, oral practice. Everybody, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, students. Today we will start off the class with a game, bingo. We will do a game on literary terms. After that, we will do a small group discussion, pre-reading skills. We will thereafter watch a short video clip. Next comes the audio of the folk tale we would read. Happy learning. Okay, great. And happy learning indeed it is today. Because as you can see, we have lots of varied, exciting activities. And before I continue, it will be important if we sit next to our work group. I keep changing the work groups, partners. I keep changing them. Okay, group 1, Ashton and Abby, I hope you're sitting close to each other. If you're not, quickly do that. Group 2, Emanuela and Leroy, please. Sit close to each other. Group 3, Edward and Elizabeth Giassi. Number 4, Cecilia and Felix. Felix is not here today. Felix, okay, so I'm going to team you with another group. Number 5, Group 5, Melody and Alex. Group 6, Elizabeth Nath and James. So, James, probably it will be better if you go to the lady, yeah. Sure. Okay. So let's sit in that order. Okay, good. So what we are going to do is I will start off first of all by giving you your warm-up. We'll start off first of all by doing a warm-up. And I'm going to give you your warm-up sheets. After that, you will quickly, when you're done with your warm-up, quickly fill out the bingo chart with the words I have up here. Okay, these are literary words we've done, in our previous classes, in any order you want to have it in. And we're going to play a bingo game briefly before we continue. Okay. This one you're doing individually, not in groups. This warm-up. What's your question here? Cecilia.
I don't have a group. You can put me in no group.
Okay, you're very right. So I'm going to team you with another group. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I will put you probably. Yeah. Join, if you don't mind, you want to join Abby and Ashton?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's fast. Does everybody have this? Yeah. Okay, then the bingo. I'm going to quickly give out this. Start filling them out. Since you're done first, I'll give. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay. Six, because 5 is not here, right? Yeah? 6. You finished? Okay. Oh, the paper. Yeah, sure. The bingo. Fill it in any order. Okay. Okay, if you're done with your warm-up hand, raise your hand, I'll collect the warm-up. You didn't know?
Yes, a new one.
A new one? Oh, okay, just a second. Does it really matter? You want to cancel out maybe what you've done because it's going to... You done with your warm-up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. You done? Good. You done with the warm-up? Okay, you're doing. Okay. Did you give me your warm-up? Did you give me your warm-up? You didn't take it. Okay. Are we done with the... Okay, some people are done. You need to fill out every little box in the bingo card. Okay. I think almost everybody is done now, right? Okay, we'll first of all go through the warm-up, okay? And read out what I have in the warm-up, the question.
The 4 elements of literature. Sorry.
Okay, the 4 elements of literature. Who knows the first element? Edward.
Plot.
Pardon?
Plot.
Plot. Okay, he said plot. Okay, that's one of it. Who knows another one? Cecilia?
Character.
Character. Okay, character. Okay, the next one, Ashton?
Theme.
Theme. Okay, theme. Okay, the other one,
Setting.
setting. Okay. So what you need to do, you should quickly check. I switched papers. Okay, quickly check your neighbor's papers, and for each one they have correct, you give them 2. Okay, 2 points for one question. So the total is 8. If they got everything correct, it's 8/8. Okay, and then put the paper on one side. I'll come and collect them. You want to pass yours down this way, probably? Okay, pass this down, okay? I'll collect them. Okay, thank you. The next thing we will do is the bingo. We're going to do the bingo. So are we ready?
Yeah.
This is a competition. Are you excited? You are?
Mr. Biden,
I am excited.
Mr. Piper,
Yeah?
can I go to my group now?
Yeah, sure. Go to your group. Yeah, sure. You excited? Okay, good. That's the warm-up. Okay, great. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do for the bingo, let me explain it one more time. I gave you this paper, and I told you I gave you a list of literary words, and I told you to fill them out at random, whichever way you want. And how we are going to play this game, which you've played several times before, is that I'm going to call out the words at random. And when I call out the word, you check it out in your bingo sheet. When I'm done calling it out, I'm going to ask for the meaning of the literary word. That's when I expect you, if you know it, to raise your hand and tell us the definition. If you don't get it, we go to the next group. If they don't get it, we go to another group. We're going to go in that order. We've done it before. And at the end of it, when you score a bingo, all you need to do is to raise your hand and say bingo. We want to know the first group that will score the bingo. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to start with the first. You're in which group? No, group. Emmanuel and okay. You're in group 2. Okay, so group 2. First word I'm choosing is comedy. Everybody, remember to check off comedy in your bingo sheet. And then if you know the meaning, okay, or you know what, why don't we do it group 1, group 2, group 3, okay, so it will be orderly. Yeah, I think that's better. So group 1, sorry, group 2. Group 1, yeah.
Suggestion, like, what if you say the word and if you know you put your hands up, then you call on the person that's in the group.
Okay, I would have done that, but you know, it wouldn't be fair in the sense that, you know, I want to make sure that I give every group a chance, yeah. So that's why I want to do it that way. Thanks for your suggestion, though. Okay, so group 1, you want to, the meaning of comedy, group 1. Group 1 is Ashton and Abby. Okay, Ashton. And you too, and Cecilia, yeah.
Comedy is a story that is funny.
That is funny?
Yeah.
Do we agree?
There are books.
Do we agree that it's a story that is funny where people make, you know, say funny things, jokes and stuff? Okay, that's good. So group 1 has scored 1. Very good. Great. Group 2, I'm picking another word. Biography. Group 2, what's the meaning of biography? And group 2, Emanuela and Leroy, 2 of you.
When you write a story about somebody.
When you write a story about somebody?
Yes.
What type of story do you
Like
write about that person?
Life story.
The life story.
The life story of another person. So it's a true story, right? Mm-hmm. The real life story of another person. That's good for group 2. Wonderful. Okay, group 3. Let me pick another one. Fiction. Make sure this is a group work. You don't need to answer individually. I want to see you collaborating, okay? You need to talk with your partner. Share with your partner, what do you think the meaning of this word is, okay? And when you agree, you know, that's when you answer. Okay, so group 3, what is the meaning of fiction? And group 3, we have Edward and Elizabeth here.
Fiction is a story that is not real.
Okay, a story that is not real, okay? A made-up story. Okay, fantastical. Look at that. That's wonderful. Okay, group 4.
Yeah, group 5.
Okay, group 4. Okay, because Felix didn't come in today, so okay. So group 5, the next word is plot. What's the meaning of plot, group 5?
Plot, sequences.
Talk first before you give the answer.
Sequences or other or events in a story.
Okay, the sequence of events in a story. The order the story happened, okay? That's what it is, okay? Great. We go to group 6. Elizabeth and James. The other word is, what's the meaning of, okay, let me say poetry, meaning of poetry. Poetry.
No. It's a poem. It's like a poem.
Okay. And poem. How is a poem written?
In a stanza.
In stanzas, great. And it's written also
In verse.
in verse. Great. Okay. That is good. And you know that the opposite of verse is what? Remember, poetry is written in verse, whereas novels are written in the P word.
Poems.
Prose. Thank you, Edward. Prose. Great. Prose. Okay? That's good. Okay. Keep checking the words when you score a bingo. Let me know. Okay? Another word, we go back again to, we're going back again to group 1, Ashton and Abby. The next word I have up there is theme. You know the meaning of it? Okay. Did you
Yeah.
confirm with members
The
of
main idea in the story.
Okay.
The main idea in the story.
The main idea in the story. That's what it is. Okay, that's group 1 again. Okay, group 2. No bingo yet?
Almost.
My goodness, almost. We're getting there. Okay, character.
Bingo.
Character.
Bingo right here.
Bingo?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you've gotten a bingo. Great. Bingo? 2 groups, 1 a bingo. Okay, great. So, what group again? Group 2 got the bingo. And what other group? Group 3?
Group
bingo.
1.
Oh, group 1, sorry. Group 1 got a bingo.
One get a bingo.
Okay. And group 3. And group 2, sorry, got a bingo. Okay, that's good. That's great. So finally, the meaning of character. We go to the other group. Next group. That's your turn, yeah. Edward and Elizabeth.
The main person in the story is all about
Character.
or the person in the story. Character is about the main person in the story.
Is it the main
Not
person?
who the story is about.
It's talking about.
Yeah, who the story is basically talking about, or
Yeah, that's
Have you given up? So we go to group.
now we
I
haven't
don't want
given
to
up
rush
yet.
you, but, huh?
We haven't. Is the person who is in the story? Who the story is talking about? The
Who the
person.
story is about?
Now, who the story is talking about?
Who the story is talking about? Is it just a person or,
Nah, it could be animals too.
or people?
Yeah.
You might have only one character or you might have more. The people who the story is all about. Okay, that's very good. That's group 2, right?
No.
Group
Group
3.
3. Okay, group 3. Okay, that's very good. You know what? There are no winners. There are no losers. Why do I say that? Because everybody put in their best. And because, as you see up there, we have lots of activities to do. I think we will stop here with the bingo. Put away your bingo sheets away. Remember to learn these words. The SOL is coming up next week, okay? So let's go to the next thing, which is small group pre-listening discussion. And as you can see, if you look up there, you will see that I put down the different topics you need to discuss in your group. Within 2 minutes, see whether you can list a few items you think, okay? Let me start off by reading it out because probably you might not be able to see that from where you're sitting. Group 1, which is Ashton and Abby, you want to copy it down, what your question is. Times you were tricked or betrayed, how you felt. So you want to quickly, Cecilia, you're part of that group too. You want to quickly write it down. That's for group 1. Times you were tricked, betrayed, and how you felt when those things happened to you. So the 3 of you, you need to talk, discuss it, and come up with a few points, okay? Group 2, which is Emanuela and Leroy, your topic is, do you trust people? Why or why not? Why do you trust people or why don't you trust them? We go to group 3, Edward and Elizabeth Giassi. What you know about crocodiles. Yeah, what you know about crocodiles. Okay, group 4. Okay, Felix is not here. So we go to group 5. Melody and Alex, what do you know about reptiles? What you know about reptiles? Okay? Then finally, group 6, Elizabeth, Nat, and James. How do you know a real friend? How do you know? What are the things that a real friend does that makes you know that person is a real friend? So quietly start discussing and jot it down. I'll give you about 2 minutes to share that in class. If you have any question, you raise your hand. I'll come to your rescue.
Yeah. That's what
Animal with bag on.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Animal with bag. Animal like snake.
You're going to
Animal with backbone. For example.
Snake.
For example, like snakes. Snakes.
I have a, let's go laser. Laser.
Lisa, what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, then right.
No smoking.
Always happy when you have
When
problems.
help you when you have.
Problems. They help you out when you have problems.
What does it train actually? What's the meaning of it?
Talking about things.
Yeah, like if you got problems. You guys talking
You
about
trust someone and the person can, yeah, the person didn't live up to your expectation, failed you. It can, yes. Yes.
Telling you what's right from wrong.
That's a good, it's a good life example.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It
It
happens,
happens in
yeah.
everyday life.
Yeah, it
It happens
happens
in
every
everyday
day.
life, yeah. Yeah.
See? So that's what
So
it is.
that's a good example. And then
That's why
which
you don't
ways?
trust. You don't trust. Not everybody.
Yeah. And which ways were you betrayed?
Bad. Like your friend. Yes,
Okay,
matter.
and other things too.
Your
Okay,
friend.
I think you're on the right track.
Yeah. I got a good one.
Your boyfriend disappoints you.
Yeah.
And then, like when, like, you know, some people when people are living,
Okay,
then
we should be winding up
everybody
now.
is living. You are living with your
Because
friend,
these
for
are-
example, and then your friend said, you said you want to go to a party, and then he said he will borrow you the cloth or something.
Yeah, he'll borrow you.
Yeah,
And
and
you're
then
gonna give it to
you
him.
depend on him. You have all.
Time come for the party. Your
Temp-
friend leave you. That's a good one too.
Okay, we should wind up now so we can discuss, so we can share. We share it before we continue. Because some of the things we are discussing are related to the story we are going to read, okay? Okay, so are we ready to share now? Yeah. Great. Group 1. Okay, now the sharing is for everyone. So when we start the sharing, I want everyone to be attentive. Number 1, Ashton and Abby. Read out your question. Oh, and Cecilia, I'm sorry. You know, I already grouped people. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know, I grouped you. So Cecilia, Abby, and Ashton.
Our question was, time you was tricked or betrayed, how you felt?
Okay.
I think like when someone got betrayed or tricked, it will feel sad because you put your trust, and then you because you believe in the person, and then you get disappointed. I think that one is not nice.
You feel bad.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I will give example.
That's good.
And like example, like you trust someone, right? And the person was like, "Can I get this thing?" And the person said, "Okay," came another next day and get it, right? And you came, the person didn't give it to you.
Oh, okay. Oh my
That's
gosh. I mean, that can be shattering, right? The person rather not make a promise they can keep. Cecilia, do we have any other probably life example of when
like,
someone is betrayed?
For example, it happens in our today world often, because sometimes it's happening rarely in a relationship.
Oh, okay.
People trust the married man and boyfriend, and when you look, they start cheating. You know, and they already pull trust in you that I would never cheat, or you know. That's a betrayal right
That's
there.
a betrayal.
Yeah.
Betrayal to the wife, right?
Yeah.
And it could be vice versa.
It could be,
My goodness, some people have been watching some soap operas here. Okay, good. That's good. So we now have an idea of what betrayal means, right? Because we will meet that in the story we are going to read. Group 2, thank you so much. Oh, great. Very good. Yeah, they did a good job. Okay, Group 2, Emanuela and Leroy, you want to read out your question for us?
My question is, do you trust people, why or why not?
Okay.
There are many types of people in this world. Some of them can be trustful and some can be not. Before saying a secret to a person, you have to know the person very well. A trustful person keeps what you say to him to himself. If you tell your secret to not a trustful person, the person will go all around the world spreading your secrets. That is why I'm saying that some can be trusted and some can be not.
Okay, that's good, isn't that? Oh, yeah. You know, it happened. It's like backstabbing, right? Yeah. Okay, what is your opinion on that?
Yes. And also,
do you hold the same view as your partner?
Yeah, I hold the same view of her.
You want to add? Or?
And I want to add on it.
Oh, okay.
Like, yes, I do trust people because people trust me, and also like my friends and family. And when you are in trouble, they give you right advice, not to go astray, not to go beyond jail and beyond the iron bars, like to go in jail and all this stuff. So I do trust people because they are there when I'm in trouble.
Oh, okay. You're saying, in essence, that you have trustful friends, people who give you good advice, but are all friends to be trusted? Do all of them mean well sometimes?
I don't know about the other friends, but
but you're saying that's yours,
for my friends, they are always trusted.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. I want to ask one question here. Alex, for instance, if you have a friend and the friend says, you know what, I don't feel like coming to class today, let's cut the class. And that's your friend. He always tells you this truth. And then this time around he says, okay, you know what, let's go to the bathroom or let's sneak out of the school. Will you do what he says because he's your friend?
No.
No, why not?
I mean, all depends on what's going on, why he want to skip class and stuff. All depends on what's happening.
Okay. So it depends. So you wouldn't skip because?
I ain't going to skip class because he want me to skip class. I skip class when I feel like skipping class.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I do. I don't listen to what people say. I do what I want to do.
Okay, you know. Okay, I mean, what Alex is saying here in essence is that he has a backbone. What do you mean when you say that someone has a backbone?
Right,
you know, without this backbone, you can't sit. Very good. So if you remember my word, jellyfish. He's saying he's not a jellyfish, right? That he has, you know, he stands by whatever he believes in. He wouldn't do something merely because his friend told him to. And equally, he takes decision for himself. And I'm sure that he will not cut classes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you so much. We now go to the next group. Group 3, Edward and Elizabeth. You want to read out your question?
You say what you know about crocodile. And we wrote like they live in the water and swamp.
They are ugly animals.
They have many.
They are what?
They are ugly animals.
Ugly animals. Okay. Ugly animals. Okay.
They have many long tail. Long teeth.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Sure. And sharp too.
They also have a rough body.
A rough body?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very right. Very good. You're not done. Sure.
They have big tails at the end of their back.
Oh, okay. That's very good. How many of you have seen crocodiles before? Either in pictures or... Oh, many of you.
Pictures.
They eat human... Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
because they are Carnivores, right? They are carnivores. Okay, that's right. They eat meat. Okay, they eat meat. Okay, very good. Let's clap for them too. They did a good job. Yes.
Like sometimes some people say in like crocodile tears or something.
Oh, crocodile tears.
Yes.
Okay, you know.
Just like outsmart when somebody outsmarts you, right? They said when they do crocodile tears.
I do understand what you're trying to say. Have people ever heard of crocodile tears? Someone shedding?
Yes.
Okay.
Something bad and they ask you, you try to cry. You try to pretend. Pretending like
you're pretending like
you're crying.
You're crying, but you're not crying. You're just doing crocodile.
Stop crying, shedding crocodile tears. You know? And I think why do they say that? Why do they use the crocodile, for instance? Because, you know, it devours lots of animals. You know, it does. You know, it's a carnivore. You know, a carnivore, it eats lots of animals. And, you know, when it eats all these animals and pretends, like you will see in this story, I don't want to give it out, so let me stop here. Because the story we are going to read, there's a crocodile in it, and there's another, you know, animal in it. So we go to the next group, okay? Group 5. We are skipping 4 because Felix is not here. Group 5, you want to tell us a little bit? Give us your question first.
Our question is, what do you know about reptiles?
Okay, what do you know about reptiles? Yeah.
Reptiles, there are many kinds of reptiles. Sorry, there are many kinds of reptiles. Some live in water, some live in the bush. And reptiles are big animals with backbone. Most of the animals use their backbone to do a lot of things.
Okay.
For example, reptiles are like snake, and snake bite people.
Of course.
Some big snake eat people. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, cobras. Very giant ones with big mouth.
And they crawl in the grass
because they
and
don't
stuff.
have.
Yeah, they don't have no backbone. Reptiles are animals. Nah, they do have backbone though.
Lizard.
Yeah, lizard.
Lizard is an example. Very good. That's very good. That's very, very, very good. Let's clap for them. That's good. Okay, finally, group 6. Elizabeth, Nath, and James, you want to read out your question?
Okay.
Our question was, how do you know a real friend? There are many ways to know a real friend. However, the most important ones are telling you to do the right things, getting to know your family, helping you when you have problems, talking to you about anything, and telling you the truth. Okay, good points. James, you have anything to add or deduct?
Like when they help you in your problem, like if you got a problem and then you're gonna tell your friend, and she's gonna tell you the right thing, like what to do, to solve the problem and stuff.
Okay, good. You mean someone, you know, that lends ears, you know, listens to you, you can confide in and other things. And there are many good friends, you know. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. That was good. Thank you so much. Okay, we will go to the next thing very briefly, which is, if you see there, I'm going to show you an overhead. Okay. Because we are going to talk about, the story is about some reptile. How many of you know what this is?
Yes.
Come here.
Change skin, right?
Okay, I want to see hands up. Hands up, hands up, hands up. Okay, James, because I haven't, you know, heard from James before. What do you think this is?
It's like an animal that changes skin to so many colors.
Yeah. That's very good. That's very good. It changes, the colors keep changing. Okay, I'll come to you.
I think the name is Guana or something.
Is what? Is what?
You already said?
Guana.
Iguana?
No, iguana. That's the name. I'm trying to figure out the name.
Okay, that's the name in your language? Is that what it is? Iguana?
Iguana is right.
Iguana.
No, what are you trying to say? You want to try to say the name.
Okay, when everybody is talking, nobody is talking. I'd rather see hands up. What do you have to say?
Like in Africa, they call it guana.
Oh, okay,
That's how they
great.
call it in Africa.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Now,
they changed the name iguana.
okay. Yeah. Really, is that what you think it is? Okay, but in your language, they call it guana. Okay, now in English, what is it called? Who knows? Yes. Ashton.
Chameleon.
Thank you. Come here. Clap for him. Very good. That's chameleon.
Yes,
okay?
and then it's changed, like it adapts to the environment. Wherever, like, if he's among green grass, it will change to green grass.
To green, yes.
And then we have purple.
Yeah.
We change to purple, like he adapts to the environment.
Okay, great. And again,
I have a question.
let's listen. Yes.
How does that really happen? Because
how does it happen?
Because like when I was back there in my country, me and my grandma went on the farm. We see that animal, and my grandma had a butterfly, lapra.
Yeah.
And the thing changes skin to the color of the lapra.
Yeah, you know, when I will give you some literature on the chameleon, because I went to the internet and I pulled it out, and they explained why it changes colors. And they said that it does not actually change colors, that what happens is that reflection from light, and sometimes there's a stimulus, sometimes when it's agitated, when it's frightened, like that time it saw your mommy. So certain changes occur that give out that reflection of its environment. Okay? So I have some literature. You know, we will read, we'll share that later if time permits. Okay, we've seen this. This is one of the characters we will see in the story we are going to read. Okay? Now I'm going to show you another character that we will see, okay, in this video clip. Okay?
Into the rivers. Their tails are their motors, their feet are their rudders, their skin is an iron hull. When they move, they strike like lightning. A fully grown crocodile can lie submerged for well over an hour waiting for prey. When they make a kill, they can't chew, so they have to twist and literally tear the meat off the carcass. Vicious, deadly, certainly.
Is that Africa?
But these killer jaws can also gently cradle a baby. Crocodilians are one of the few reptiles that look after their young, and with protection like this, who would dare snatch a baby from the jaws of its mother? In fact, it's the jaws that show the difference between a crocodile and an alligator. An alligator has a more rounded snout, and its front teeth stick out. Alligators are smaller, too, and are only found in China and America. They were mistakenly named after the Spanish word for lizard, el lagarto. Their appetites are smaller, too, unlike the largest crocodile, the saltwater, which will eat almost anything. A 2-ton giant named Sweetheart tried to eat more than 20 outboard motors. The people in Papua New Guinea believe the crocodile is the creator of all things. Young men are swallowed up and regurgitated as adults.
Okay, so let me stop here if you don't mind, because I just wanted you to see that, you know, the clip of the crocodile. Because today, the title of the story we are going to read is How Chameleon Became a Teacher, and that's the chameleon. Okay? Do you have a question?
Like, you know, in crocodile and alligator, they look alike, right?
An alligator, they look alike.
Yeah,
very,
what is
very
the difference?
alike. There's a difference. One has a sharp mouth. The other one, the mouth is kind of more rounded. Okay? So,
I think also have a tail.
if you notice that, and I think it's the crocodile that has a pointed mouth. The alligator, that his is a little bit rounded. Let me show you. Okay, one thing I want you to know is that with this story we are reading, somebody said, is a crocodile the same as an alligator? A crocodile is not an alligator. Okay? It's not an alligator, okay? And a chameleon, is chameleon the same as the lizard that we see running around in Africa in the sun? No, but it belongs to that family, okay? It belongs, but not a lizard, okay? And both the crocodile and chameleon, they belong to a class of animals called reptiles. Thank you so much. Reptiles, okay? Why am I explaining some of these things? Is to support the biology class you are taking, okay? We are supposed to do that. We are supposed to bring up some content when we teach to support the mainstream classes you're taking. Okay, now that I've given you that, what I'm going to do, you have a question? Somebody at the door? Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to read this. I'm going to play an audio. Okay? I'm going to play an audio of this. And as we've done before, all I want you to do is to turn to page. That's the first story there. Page 1. That's page 1. How Chameleon Became a Teacher. And as I play this, you will read silently along with the narrator. Okay? So that's what we are going to do. And again, briefly before I show that, I want you to know that the story we are reading is it drama, novel?
Folktale.
Folktale. Thank you so much. Folktale. Okay? It's folktale. Okay? Just to see whether we still remember, the word folk means what? People. When you talk of old folk, that's when it means. The what tale, Alex? Story. So, folktale is what? Story of a people. That people pass from one. Very good. From one generation to the other. And you know that this is a subdivision of, remember the genres of literature, fiction and non-fiction, right? If we still remember, you do?
Yeah.
Good. And some of the subdivisions are what?
Short story.
Short story, you have novels, okay? This is part of it, okay? Drama, okay? Poetry, and others. So, folktale is a subdivision of fiction. All right. So, let's get to the story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Owenu hoche singadie wasi wenu hoye. Owenu hoche singadie wasi wenu hoye. Come and hear my story. Come, so that you and I will fly on the wings of memory back to the years of my childhood.
How Chameleon Became a Teacher. A Tale from Benin.
Once upon a time, Crocodile and Chameleon were friends. Crocodile was very fond of sunbathing. He loved to come out of the water and to lie on the sand in bright sunshine. And whenever Crocodile came out of the water, Chameleon would come out of the bush and climb up a tree nearby. Soon, they would be talking happily and laughing loudly. Sometimes, they would lie very close to each other, whispering, shaking their heads, and nodding. They were always deep in thought and discussion. Crocodile and Chameleon were very good friends. One day, Crocodile invited Chameleon to dinner. "Come to my house at the bottom of the lake," he said, "and my family will give you a delicious meal. We'll have fun together afterwards. When you swim me right to the surface, jump into the lake and I will take you to my house. They agreed on a day and a time. Chameleon thanked Crocodile for his kindness, and they said goodbye to each other. On the day they had agreed to meet, Chameleon went to the shore of the lake carrying a stick. While Chameleon waited, Crocodile gathered his wife and children together in their house at the bottom of the lake. He said, "Rejoice, rejoice! My friend Chameleon is coming to see us. He will be our special meal. I cannot tell you what a delicacy it will be. Chameleon meat is so tasty." Crocodile then went out to meet his friend. There was a great splashing on the surface of the lake as he came to the shore. His gigantic mouth was wide open. To test his friend, Chameleon threw his stick into the water. Believing that Chameleon had dived into the lake, Crocodile rushed forward and closed his enormous mouth over the stick. Chameleon was shaking, trembling in terror. His heart was racing furiously. Chameleon fled from the shore and quickly climbed the closest tree. Then, blending in with the color of the leaves, he cried, "What would have happened to me if I had not thrown my stick into the lake to test my friend? Thank goodness I did not jump into the lake to meet Crocodile. I would have ended up in the bottom of his stomach instead of as a guest at his house at the bottom of the lake. Take note, oh world. Caution is the mother of safety." And so it was that Chameleon became a teacher of prudence and wisdom. He walks very slowly and carefully. He thinks long and hard before putting a foot forward. And he takes on the local color wherever he happens to be.
Okay, that was interesting. That's very, very good. Most of these folk tales are told to teach a lesson. You know, I mentioned that earlier, in our previous classes. Or sometimes they tell them to explain how certain things came to be the way they are. For instance, the chameleon. What are they explaining here about the chameleon? Ashton.
How chameleon and crocodile, they were friends first, and then now they were not friends.
Okay, but what of chameleon's mannerisms?
And then chameleon,
its characteristics.
Because chameleon is so soft, he walks slowly all the time. That was the reason he started to walking slow since the time.
Okay, definitely. So this story, they're trying to explain why chameleon walks very slowly. Okay, always looking around because he doesn't want to be killed. You know, the way the crocodile did, and why it changes its color. But is this story true? No, that's not how it is. And that's why we say it's fiction, that folktale is fiction. Okay, we are going to do some oral retell now of the story we read. Okay? You want to put that story in your own mouth? Does someone want to come out and briefly tell us about the story? Or probably in your chair if you want to do it. Briefly, about 2 minutes. Let's see whether you understood the story. Celia, you want to do that? Okay. About 2 minutes.
Yeah, this story started when Crocodile and Camille became best friends. They used to be together, play, have fun, talk, and have a discussion. And one day, Crocodile was trying to invite Camille to come and visit him. So, that's it.
What happened? Someone in your group wants to add something? What happened?
So when Crocodile told the chameleon to go and visit him. Crocodile went and told his family that, don't worry, everything will be okay because there will be a nice meal.
There will be a nice meal.
There will be a nice and tasty, sweet sauce for us today. and so Crocodile was waiting for Chameleon. Then Chameleon decided to go and see his friend because they already planned their best friend. I don't think Chameleon was even thinking of what Crocodile would do that to him because they were friends. But he decided to test Crocodile first. If Crocodile is a really good friend to him by throwing the stick at the lake. When he threw the stick at the lake, the crocodile rushed. He thinks that Chameleon has already jumped in the water.
He wanted a delicious meal.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then and then he realized that Crocodile was not a good friend to him, so he decided not to go to Crocodile, and then he blessed God for God when God saved his life.
Exactly. Thank you so much. That's it. Thank you. So we understand the story, right? We've retold it in our own words because later we will be required to answer questions that come after the story, which I Xeroxed, okay, and gave you. But before we do that, I want us to,
I have something to say.
Okay.
Like, this story, Chameleon think before he went. Okay, like sometimes people do not think before they do stuff.
Definitely.
They just go ahead to do thing, and then at the end they begin to lose it.
Okay.
So if Chameleon was not going to think,
he would have been.
He gonna be there by now.
In a big pot of soup. That's very good. That's equally right. Yeah.
And I think the story about Alligator thought he was smart. Because he tried to fake his friends. All his friends thought they were like best friends, but where Alligator was thinking on eating his friends and stuff. So he thought he was smart, trying to trick his friend to come over to visit him and stuff so he can eat his friends.
So you see what a friend can do to a friend?
Yeah, that's why we were talking about trusting people. You don't just trust people like that. You gotta know the person really good before you trust the person.
Before you trust the person, okay. So that's good. You see how a friend can betray someone. Edward has something to say.
The story is basically based on how you know who a real friend is. Because if Alligator was a real friend, he wasn't going to open his mouth for his friend to come in his mouth. He wasn't going to open his mouth. He was probably going to let a friend jump on his back, and then they go underwater. But
probably they play, yeah.
But then he opened his mouth wide, and then the other guy was thinking that this guy ain't opening his mouth wide as a friend. As an enemy, he was thinking he's enemy to him.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why he fell.
Yeah, that's correct. That's very, very correct. You know, he didn't mean well. He was an enemy in disguise. That's what he was. Ashton, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think all the time he was like going out of the water and then lie on the sun. He was just trying to find a way to like for Chameleon to know that he has a best friend.
To gain his confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, to gain his confidence.
He was just trying to find a way how to dominate Chameleon so he would have it as a tasty soup.
Yeah. So he wouldn't be suspicious when he does something. And finally, on this,
Also, the story is like sometimes, you know, how when you get your friend, you have trust, you think the person like you, but your best friend have bad intention for you, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Every time y'all come alive, you talk and stuff, you don't know what is in their mind.
In their mind,
for you.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful.
But yeah, definitely people need to be careful. You know, people need to be careful. But it's a pity that people can do that type of thing, you know. But actually, is this life? It does happen. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you have good friends. Sometimes you have jealous friends. Sometimes you have wicked friends. So we better be careful. I want us to look up here. I put up something here, a character study, and it says who did what, when, where, why. The title and the author. Remember, I said that anytime we read a story, right? We should write down the name of the story we read. You know, keeping a record of what you've been reading. So the title of this story is what? How Chameleon Became a Teacher. And of course, the narrators are the two people, Ralph, Mama, and Mary Romney. And then you're going to fill out who did what, when, where, why. These are, most of the time, people in journalism, you know, people studying, these newspaper reporters, when you read any story, they usually try to answer some of these questions. Okay, you can't tell us that a crime happened and you don't tell us where it happened or why it happened. Equally, in the story we read, who did what? Okay? Who did what? What did that person do? Did what? Okay, when? When did he do it? Okay, where? Meaning the, where is what? Setting. Oh my gosh, I love that word. Thank you. Good, good. Where is the setting? And why? Reasons behind his action. Okay? So you quickly jot it down. Okay, and when you're done with it, let me tell you something I want to do, because eventually I will want you to write your folktale. But some people will be saying, is it possible for me to make up a folktale? Yes, you can. You must have listened to lots of them from your grandmother and your parents and stuff back home. And to encourage you, okay, to tell us, I will tell mine. The difference is that mine will be oral and yours will be written, because I want us to practice all the English skills, the oral, writing, speaking, and everything before this class is over, all right? So you will do the writing. And that writing of your own folktale is individual work, okay? So quickly answer these questions. We'll discuss it briefly. I will tell my own folktale. You need paper?
I have it. I can give you some.
You have? I do have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do have. What's your question?
Are we going to do this in group individual?
This one is individual. This one is just very simple. This is individual. Yeah. And again, if we have time, I have some construction paper where you can draw your crocodile and your chameleon and color them in, if time permits.
Are we writing the story first or trying?
No, you're answering that. Who did what? Okay.
Like who did what? Is that we have to put both of the two friends' names?
Say who did and to whom it was done to. Okay. Who did this? I think that will be the best thing, because do you understand it?
No.
Who did? You just can't say who did without saying the person a particular action was done to. So mention the character that did something, okay, and to the character it did that something to. Who?
Can you give an example?
I'll give you an example. What story did we read that is similar to that? We read in Pearls of Wisdom, we read how that time they took a decision on the chicken, and the chicken wasn't there, remember? The chicken was absent. Okay, why hawk preys on chicks? Remember that story? We read that, some weeks ago. Okay, who did what? In that story. Who wants a baby animal it will be feeding on? So who, hawk, thank you. Who did he eventually decide to start eating? The chicken. So the hawk decided to start preying on the chicken. Then, okay. All right?
My pencil.
Sure, or you can grab one of mine. Okay. Okay, we should be done. Who did what, when, where, and why. Okay? It's just brief answers that, Okay. You want us to, just share that briefly? Yeah, okay, because these are just brief answers, the things I want here. Okay, I want everybody to look up, please. Look up. Okay, the first thing I have there, this is a character study of the story, how Chameleon became a teacher. And we are asking who, the question who wants to tell us who was the main person we are talking about in the story. Okay, let me see whether I can find someone who has not really talked today. Melody.
Crocodile and Chameleon.
Okay, Crocodile was the who. Another person was the chameleon. That was the person he did something to. Okay, did what? Who else wants to?
Elizabeth.
Huh? You want to say something, Elizabeth?
Crocodile wanted to eat Camilla.
Yeah, he wanted to
for dinner, and he was he lied to him to come over for dinner, but Camilla didn't know that Crocodile was a bad friend to eat him. So at the time Camilla was going for the dinner, he tested Crocodile and he threw the stick. So, and when he found out that Crocodile was a bad friend, he left.
Okay, so he didn't know that coming for dinner means that he will be the dinner. Come for dinner, friend. He didn't know that he will be the dinner. Okay, that's great. When? Who else wants to? I want to hear everybody's voice today before the class is over. Leroy.
When they were best friends.
Eh? When? When? Meaning, when did this happen? Manuela. Eh?
The appointment day.
The appointment day, but when? The appointment day. Okay. I think she's right, because actually they didn't give a date when it happened. Or does someone have something else to say about it?
Before dinner and stuff.
Just before dinner. Okay. He's trying to make it very specific. Okay. Just before dinner. You're right. You're very right. Okay. Just before dinner. Okay. Where? I want to hear someone else's voice. Elizabeth, yes, I want to hear from you now.
At the bottom of the lake.
At the bottom of the lake. Thank you so much. At the bottom of the lake. And where is the same as the setting, right?
Yeah.
Why did they do it? Why? Why did Chameleon do anything?
No.
Who started it all?
Crocodile.
Why did he do it, James?
Because the crocodile wanted some food for him and his family to eat.
Okay, that was part of it. But again, because he was Edward.
Hungry.
Hungry. Apart from being hungry, he was.
He was not a good friend.
He was not a good friend. He was mean. Right? He was very mean. I mean, if you're hungry, what did he use for dinner at other periods? Because he was mean. Okay, that's very good. So now we are done with that. You have the questions you will answer, which you have here in that handout I gave you. But I'm going to tell my folk tale now. Are you ready for me? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not going to sing "Go Away, Your Way, Bunny Rabbit." I'm going to start off mine the way we tell it back home. Okay? And you know, it's usually told when? In the night. When the sun has gone down and the moon is out, right? So if you don't mind, you want me to turn this off? Yes. So this is our makeshift moon. And you're going to listen to me now. So back home, you know, each culture is different. But back home from where I come from, Nigeria, the Igbo tribe, we start it off by saying stories, stories, and you answer story, right? When I say once upon a time, you say, oh, fantastical. Okay. Stories, stories. Stories. Once upon a time. My people, you won't believe what I saw when I made a long, long journey to the land of Idu and Oba. Don't ask me where it is, because it is the animal kingdom. I visited the animal kingdom, and when I got there, there was a big drought. That means rain was little The plants were dying. The animals were hungry. What do you think they did, my people? You know what they did? They decided to hold a meeting so they don't die off like all the dinosaurs. The birds called their meeting first. When they came together, Tortoise decided to come. He wasn't a bird though, but he said he would be there. The birds knew the tortoise as a trickster, so when he arrived at the venue, they were all suspicious. They said, Tortoise, what are you doing here? You're not a bird. Tortoise said, don't worry, my friends. You know why I'm here? I am your friend. I'm just here to give you an advice as to how you can survive in these hard times. Is everybody listening to me? Because the story is for you. Then, what happened? Tortoise told them, if you go up to the sky, there is a very generous king who lives there. He gives people lots of food and wine to drink. So if you go there, you will have lots to eat today. The birds say, really? He said, I'm right. So they say, okay, we'll go. Tortoise told them, hold it, my friends. I've given you an advice. Do you mind if I come with you as a good friend? They all looked at each other and said, Tortoise, this is a trickster. We don't want him to come. But somehow some of them say, you know what? Let's give him a chance. After all, he helped us. So they said, okay, you can come. Before they left again, he said, hold it, friends. I don't have any wing. How do I get to the sky? So he said, if you don't mind, can you please give me one feather each from your body? You know birds are covered with feathers, right? Each said, oh, no problem. One will pull out a feather and give it to the tortoise. The other did the same. In the end, tortoise has lots of feathers. Tortoise now got a glue and stuck all the feathers on its body. Then they took off on their journey, and they got there. Immediately they got there, what did the tortoise do? Tortoise called a brief meeting of all the birds. He said, birds, let me tell you, you don't know how to behave in foreign lands. I will tell you, I'm a professional. You know what? Now we are here, we need a title. Each person should take a name by which he will be greeted. So all the birds say, really, is that it? The tortoise said, you know, I'm widely traveled. I know the customs. So they said, okay. So they each took a name. What did the tortoise do? You know what the name that the tortoise took for itself? He said, my name is All of You. All of You. So they say, really? Some of them say, you know, tortoise is weird, so don't mind All of You. I mean, what a weird name. So tortoise took the name. All of a sudden, the king appeared, ordered his servants to bring out food, assorted types of dishes, and laid it elaborately on the table. Then the birds said, okay, let's now go and eat. The tortoise said, hold it, birds, hold it. Let's find out from the king who this food is for. So the tortoise said, he stood up, cleared his throat, greeted the king, bowed, and said, excuse me, your majesty, who is this food for? The king looked at him and said, of course, it is for all of you. Then the birds got up, they wanted to eat. Tortoise told them, hold it, hold it, hold it. Did you hear the king? He said the food is for all of you. That's me. And my name is All of You. So the food is for me. The birds were angry. The tortoise sat down and ate up all the food. At the end of it, the king said, okay, well, now it's time for drinks. So he called his servants, they brought out assorted drinks, and they laid it on the table. And before the bird said, at least let's have something to drink, to quench our thirst. Back, you know, we haven't eaten even, let's have this. Tortoise got up and said, hold it, birds. Let's find out from the king who all these things are meant for. So the king said, of course, it's for all of you. Tortoise said, birds, I told you, all of you. That's me. That's my name. He sat down, drank up all the wine. His stomach was bulging from all sides. And at the end, they were about to leave. The birds decided to play a fast one. They held a brief meeting, excluding the turkeys. When they came back, each bird came and said, I want my feather back. So each went and plucked its feather from the turkeys. So the last bird to come, and when anyone takes his, he goes, greets the king, and says, okay, thank you so much for hosting us. He flies back to the earth. So the last bird to come for its feather was the parrot. You know, parrot talks too much, you know. So the tortoise called the parrot and said, Parrot, we've been friends for such a long time. We've been friends. Don't forget our childhood days and stuff. You want to do me a favor? I'll give you back your feather. But when you get to the earth, go tell my wife to bring out all the soft things from the house and lay them outside, because I will eventually tumble up the sky to fall back to the earth because I don't have any wings to fly with anymore. Okay, so I can land on those soft things so I don't break up my body. Parrot said, don't worry, my friend, I'll do that for you. Took his feathers, flew back to the earth. Immediately he came there, he went to Tortoise's wife and said, your husband gave me a message for you. You know what he told the wife? He said, your husband said, bring out all the hard stuff from your house. All the desks, machetes, I mean, you name it, all the hard objects, lay them outside. The tortoise's wife said, oh my gosh, I know that my husband is weird, but I mean, this is about the weirdest thing I've ever heard him say. So she went and laid all those things out, and then the tortoise now jumped. The tortoise looked from the sky and saw the wife laying out stuff because it was a long distance away. He couldn't make out the stuff she was laying. So he was very happy. He said, now, Parrot, my friend, he gave my message. When he saw the wife move out from the side, he now jumped up and started falling and falling and falling and tumbling and rolling till finally, bang, he landed on all the hard stuff, and guess what? He landed on its back. What happened? Its back was shattered to pieces. He was in pain. He was groaning. He called the wife. The wife ran out of the house. Say, what happened? He said, you know what you did to me? Why didn't you bring out the soft stuff, the soft things? The wife said, well, the parrots told me that you wanted the hard stuff. Oh, the tortoise was so mad. Then he told the wife, you know what? Go get me some glue and come and put me back together again. So the wife went and got glue, got bits and pieces of its shell, and tried to stick them together. And that is why, up till today, the tortoise has cracks on its back. My brothers and sisters, I saw all these things in the animal kingdom, and I decided to come back here to share my story with you. I'm done.
Thank you. Can I share a riddle?
A riddle?
Nah.
You want to share a riddle?
A riddle.
Or a folktale?
I have for short.
Okay, just give a riddle, but we're not doing riddles. Just share a riddle, then we're talking of folktales, okay?
Riddle.
Riddle.
Yeah. Which one of the country have the pen?
Has the what?
The pen.
Japan? Okay. I take a bow. I got it. Huh? Riddle, okay. One more. That's the last riddle. We're talking of folktales here. That's the last riddle.
What goes up and never comes down?
Your age.
No, your age.
Your age, okay, that's good.
Can I share
Okay,
my
thank
story?
you. Okay, what happens here? What do I want us to do? Just a second now. What I want us to do is that it's 12:15 now. We have how many more minutes before this class?
15 minutes.
Oh, 15, less than 15, about 15.
30.
I want you now to silently, individually, think of your folk tale. Yeah. No, we've done the listening, the speaking, we've done all of these things. We now want to do the writing.
Mine is fun.
And we've had lots of support now, the individual work we've done. We now want to put it into practice. Let's create. I want to see what you can create. We've read a folktale. I have, on my own, told you my own folktale. I'm sure you will be able to put something down. Some people will say, I don't know a folktale. Make it up. Make it up. Try. I just want to see you try. Is it hard for you to do? Okay, if you think it's hard, hands up. If you think it's hard. Okay, if you think it's easy, like, soup you can lick up with it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give you an option. Okay, you either do that or compare and contrast the crocodile to the chameleon. You do the Okay, so why don't we now try to do it? Remember when we are writing, remember the 5-paragraph writing we've practiced in class, right? Introduction, the body, and the conclusion, right? Remember the transition words. Look at the side of the board. Some of them are there. If you look up in the morning message, I wrote here, I used some transition words thereafter, next, after. I used some of them. Yes, it's there. Okay? I used some transition words in the brief message I wrote there. I have some on the board. Okay? Remember the 5 paragraphs. Just try, first of all, brainstorm. Try to brainstorm for the folk tale. If we don't finish it, you go home with it, use it as homework. You mustn't finish it in 15 minutes. All right? But start planning. I will go around to help you. Start planning. Let me take a look at yours. No. Other people are writing so they can think. If you need help, I need my third eye. I need my glasses. You can do it. Come on, you've done bigger things before. Give many examples of the things they did at first. Then another thing is this. Sorry to interrupt you. I gave you the handout how Chameleon became a teacher, okay? That is that story we read, which we are supposed to answer questions on. In fact, that's why I didn't discuss that story much, because I don't want to give out the answers, okay? So we have that, and we also have this writing. So I don't expect you to finish the writing in class, but I want to see you try. If you have any questions you ask, I can probably give you some ideas or, on how to develop or expand what you've written. But also remember that you're going to take this home to answer the questions. It's pretty straightforward, the chameleon, story. Okay, any question? I'll come to them, I'll come to you. Okay, Cecilia, you raised your hand first.
It's a 5 paragraph.
It's a 5 paragraph. I just gave Alex. Yeah. Remember that 5-paragraph format that we use? If you don't have a copy of it, I can give you.
No, but if your story is not 5 paragraph, my still is it's very short. It's not long. Okay, it's short, but you know what? You can pad things up. For instance, next week is the SOL, right? Mm-hmm. Let me give you an example. Assuming you're taking English, the English SOL, and they give you a topic to write on, and they say 5 paragraphs, and probably your idea is what you think can contain in about probably 2 or 3 paragraphs. If you write less than 5 paragraphs, are you following the guidelines? No. So what do? I've told you many times that when you're writing, try to pad things up. But make sure that the things you're using to pad up are related to what you're saying.
Because the first paragraph is usually the introduction. It's like a preamble, right? Probably can start talking generally about folk tales, right? And then the one you want to talk about eventually, you see? The first paragraph is over by the time you go about that. Then probably in the next 3 paragraphs, you're now telling this thing. Then remember the 5th paragraph is the conclusion. You're winding up. So you see the actual story itself is 3 paragraphs. So if you misplaced these guidelines I gave you for writing a 5 paragraph, I'll give you another one, okay? I want to rehash some of what I said. I want to wind up. Okay. We read the story. What was the title of the story we read, Edward?
Chameleon became a teacher.
Yeah, how Chameleon become a teacher? Okay. What genre of literature is that? What subdivision of the genre of literature is that? The melody. Emanuela, I'm sorry. Folktale, it's a folktale. And what's the meaning of a folktale? I want to see other hands.
Stories that people tell from generation to generation.
Yeah, stories that people tell from one generation to the other. Okay, and again, in that story, we had 2 animals who were the characters. Who wants to tell us the names of the animals? I want to see other people raise their hands. Ashton.
Chameleon and crocodile.
Chameleon and crocodile. And we said they belong to the class of what? What is the class they belong to? In biology, we group things into what? Reptiles. Thank you. They call it reptilia. Okay? Reptiles. Okay? And reptiles, what are reptiles? What are some of the characteristics of a reptile? You see, it's like we're also revising for SOL. I'd rather see hands up than Elizabeth now. Some live in water and land. They mustn't live in water. Yeah, some do, but that's good. Yeah. They are carnivores. Some of them are carnivores, but not all of them. Ashton.
They crawl on their belly.
They crawl on their belly. You know. They have 4 legs and they have backbones. Thank you so much. They have backbone or vertebrate. Okay. How are they different? They also have scales. Okay. How are they different from mammals, for instance? How are they different from mammals? A little of biology here, yeah? How are they different?
Mammals are warm-blooded animals.
Thank you so much. Mammals are warm-blooded, whereas reptiles are cold-blooded. We know. Oh, very good. Give yourselves some hand here. That's very good. That's very good. And you know what? If I don't see any of you when before this week is over, I wish you success in your SOL.
You too.
Coming up. I'm not taking any SOL. I'm done with that. I wish you success in your SOL. And what happens is that you can now talk for the last 30 seconds with your friend because you did a wonderful job. You did a wonderful job.